Welcome to the regular meeting of the Pickleweed Advisory Committee on February 7th, 2024. The time is 7:06, and I'd like Becky, I invite her to take roll today.
All right. Haro Sabalis.
Absent.
Okay, thank you. Miguel Hau Gutierrez.
Present.
Okay, Maidung Nugent.
Present.
Okay.
Present.
Oh, thank you. Nancy Palacios.
Absent.
Darlene Ruiz.
Present.
Kate Sprague.
Present.
Janet Sanchez.
Out ill today?
Okay. Rosa Vasquez.
Present.
Louise Youst.
Here.
And Andre Pasternak.
Present.
All right, thank you.
And I would like to note that our two alternates are active tonight because of the other absence, so they will be voting members tonight. Also present, we have Senior Administrative Assistant Becky Orton, who's taking care of our live feed and the minutes for this evening. And we have Program Coordinator Stephen Rogers here. And we also have a presenter from the YMCA who will introduce in a few minutes. So for agenda amendments, we do have one correction on item 4. We will be reviewing the 2024 meeting schedule, not the 2023 meeting schedule. And does anybody else have any changes to the agenda tonight? No. So we'll move on to the next item, which is approval of the regular meeting minutes of October 4th, 2023. I invite any questions that anybody might have regarding the minutes. Hopefully you've had time to review them. Should be the second. Yeah. Okay. There are no questions. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes? Miguel, motion to accept the minutes. Do we have a second?
A second. Kate Sprague.
All right, thank you. Miguel Hau Gutierrez.
Yes.
Okay, Maidung Nugent.
Yes.
Darlene Ruiz.
Yes.
Kate Sprague.
Yes.
Rosa Vasquez.
Yes.
Thank you. And Louise Youst.
Yes.
All right, motion approved.
Thank you very much. Now is where we have meeting open to the public, but seeing as we have no public in attendance, we will move on to the next item, which is matters before the committee. Item number 3 is the co-sponsorship application and final reports. It's Marin YMCA, YMCA Summer Camp at Albert J. Borrell Community Center. Since 2021, the Albert J. Borrell Community Center and Pickleweed Park has co-sponsored San Rafael City Schools and YMCA's partnership to offer a needed summer program for Canal youth. Both the YMCA and the San Rafael City School hope to continue this partnership in sponsoring Canal families with a weekday summer program in 2024 from June 17th to July 26th, closed for the holidays on June 19th and July 4th. Their proposal is to serve up to 70 school-identified children. The application requests use of many of the center's rooms and amenities. As was done in the past, in order to accommodate other programming in the facility, staff recommends granting the YMCA enough rooms for them to successfully base daily activities. Should the committee agree, additional rooms, primarily the gymnasium, could then be granted on a daily, space-available basis. Generally, the activity fits well in the center's schedule and is very much needed in the community. The nonprofit value of full co-sponsorship totals $21,630 while still retaining space for other programs. A fee reduction or waiver would potentially result in lost revenue to the city should paying program be interested in renting the facility at that time. The YMCA has agreed to reimburse the city the facility attendant fee of $25 an hour for opening the center an hour early in the morning, totaling $700 for the summer. The Pickleweed Advisory Committee has the authority to grant a fee reduction of 25, 50, 75% or other, grant a full fee waiver, reject the application and ask the applicant to resubmit with additional information, or reject this co-sponsorship application altogether. While the Pickleweed Advisory Committee reviews the co-sponsorship application, Anahi Sanchez from the YMCA is here to provide a program overview and support their application, which is before the committee. The committee members will then have an opportunity to ask questions. Members have until the April 3rd, 2024 meeting to consider the proposal and will motion and vote on the application at that time.
Hello, I'm Anaí. I'm the site coordinator for currently the after-school program that we have here during after school. But I've been coordinating the summer program or summer camp for the past 2 to 3 years. So been with the same kids for a couple of years, but
Want to have the lights on?
Yeah, I think if you do the one closest to the wall, Louise, the second one, no, the next one, yep. I think that's the better one. Thank you, Louise.
okay. Okay, so we serve 2 of our elementary schools here in San Rafael. One is San Pedro, the other is Bahia Vista. Total of 36 kids from Bahia Vista and 34 from San Pedro, total of 70. Within that, all of our families are usually low income. And most, if not all, live here in the canal, with some families who have 2 or maybe some have 3 kids within the program as well, so siblings. From what I've heard from parents, anytime I talk to them, it's much needed for them, just because they need that care, whether that's because they're at work or they don't have anyone to watch their children. But not only that, I think the activities and the experiences that we give the kids, it's really helpful for them as well. So, enrollment is in partnership with the schools. They help us out tremendously. They identify the kids. So sometimes, for instance, San Pedro has a lot of newcomers who come, and so they reach out to me. We talk about it, and a lot of our kids are newcomers as well. One story I can give you is I have 2 kids or 3 kids this year who are newcomers. Don't know any English, but we've been working with them to help them better their English, and it's been helping them a lot. They benefit from the program because a lot of these kids, any field trips that we take them on, any activities that we do, it's a first for them. So a lot of them, you can see in their faces, it lights their faces up when they go on all these field trips. But activities range from STEM activities, whether that's art, engineering, some science activities, team building. We also go swimming, and field trips range from, it could be like the zoo. What else do we do? We have something called a thingamajig, which is a science fair for kids in the city. We've taken them to the Cal Academy of Sciences. Some more pictures. This is a Terra Linda High School pool. The kids really, really love it. Free swim. We have lifeguards on deck at all times. But this photo right here in the middle, it was at the Lawrence Hall of Science in Berkeley, I believe. A lot of the kids had fun. They got to use their imagination to create anything that they wanted to. This down here was a beach, I believe, near Fairfax. I'm not too sure, but anywhere we take them, the kids really, really have fun. Even till in after school, they usually ask me, when are we going to go swimming? You know, when are we going to take another field trip? So it's great to hear. A typical day at the YMCA for summer camp ranges from activities throughout. So you'll notice that at the beginning, we like to start with breakfast. A lot of the kids depend on the food we give them here, whether that's breakfast or lunch. Sometimes they'll bring a snack, but it's not to fill them up throughout the day. So we usually provide breakfast and lunch. From there, we like to do what's called Camp Circle, which is we get in a group and tell them about the schedule for the day. From there, we break up into our 3 groups, which is our discoverers, which is the little ones, adventurers, which is 2nd and 3rd, and explorers, which is 4th, 5th, and incoming 6th graders. From there, we don't really have a set schedule for what activity will go first. It just depends on the group leaders, but you'll see some ideas are STEAM, field games, arts and crafts. As you get closer to summer camp, we fill it in with specific activities. From there, lunch and playtime outside. And then from there, because the summer is really hot, the kids really love to play with water, so we'll incorporate some type of water balloon to keep them cool. After that, we'll go into our 2nd rotation of activities. So could be STEAM, could be another arts and crafts, depending on what the group leaders have in mind. And then we also like to give them choice. So choice could be our board games that we have. If they want to speak, we can. It really is anything that we want to do. 2nd snack in case they're hungry, and then the camp connection is usually highs, lows, ways to go. They usually tell us what they enjoyed that day, who they want to give a shout out to throughout the day, whether that's a kid who helps everyone in the group or maybe a group leader who helped them out that day, could be anyone. And then pickup. Our day really goes by fast just because the kids are engaged. They really love it. So with our summer camp outcomes, enrichment and skill building provides a space for youth to explore a wide variety of activities and develop skills in the areas that they enjoy and thrive in. Community building allows youth to build relationships with others that live in the canal community outside of their school community. And socio-emotional learning, work with youth to build lifelong skills of self-awareness, connection building, self-management, and conflict resolution. So because these kids are still growing, we really look to incorporate these, helps them in the long run, when they transition into middle school or even high school. Some of our kids who are in middle school sometimes come back and say hi to us, so it's really nice to see. But we also sometimes partner with other organizations such as Wild Care here in Santa Fe. They've come and have shown us and have talked about all the types of animals they have helped. We also have what's called Serving of Hope, which tennis program the kids really love because it's a first for them. They really enjoy it. We'll have some presentations as well. The photos you'll see up at the top left corner and the bottom left corner was a water show, or not a water show, but it had to do with recycling. The kids really loved it and were engaged. But yeah, that's pretty much all I would say. If anyone has any questions.
So, I know lunch is provided from the school, right? You
Yeah.
walk over breakfast too, or just lunch?
Usually breakfast and lunch, depending on, we haven't really talked about it. I believe it will be provided by school, but the way we did it last summer, in the morning, we walked over to the school, we walked back, and we went over to the fields. That way, when the kids had their breakfast, they can go ahead and play. Same thing for lunch. We walked over there and we walked back, and the kids had their lunch and played here. From the previous summer before that, the lunch was provided to us here. So it really depends what the school wants to do in the summer. It depends on them, but we work together to be able to provide that. Sometimes we'll buy food for the kids apart from that, just because the school or the school lunch that they provide isn't really filling for them since it's a 8 to 5. So we try our best to keep the kids full for a long day, but it's from the school.
We'll go around and see if anybody has questions. Louise, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions about the program?
Are you incorporating, interns? You always do that?
We can, they just have to go through a process. So anyone who wants to volunteer or work with us has to get clearance, so fingerprinted, the whole process. So before they can start with us, we make sure they're allowed to.
And is that high school age kids or
It
college?
could be as young as 16 and older, but they have to get clearance from the school. It's usually 18 and up that doesn't need a permission from school, but still has to go through the process as well.
Did you say they get a stipend or no?
If it's a volunteer, no,
Okay.
but if they're willing to work, they,
But they should get on it pretty soon, I would assume.
yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, so it's not just our site, we hire for all of our sites, so depending on where we need staffing, that's where they'll put at least. So it could be here, could be maybe Sun Valley, which is another school that's separated, somewhere in Nevada as well. Yeah, so around Murray, I would say.
I just want to inject for the after-school program. This week, they had a new employee start.
Yeah,
And it was actually a person that I'd seen growing up here would come to the Canal Arts Program, help volunteer. She was very, very, you know, as a young person, very responsible coming through. And so when he had said, oh, we've got a new staff person coming in, but I didn't know who it was. And then Emily comes walking in, I'm like, oh.
she's great.
Yeah, it's really neat to see the community coming back and serving programs like
Yeah,
this. too.
similar to her, I actually grew up here on the canal and I actually went to the school in Gibbston. So it's been a full circle coming back here. Yeah, it's been nice to see the families, the community walking in and out. So it's a nice feeling. Yeah.
Andre, any questions?
Well, I saw that you were swimming at Charlotte High. The high school pools are gonna be closed.
Yeah, so I
this year?
think we're in the talks of using the Marin YMCA pool inside the gym.
Got it.
So, nothing set in stone, but that's our potential pool. So, yeah.
And I forgot to, I should have done this in the beginning, but for those of you who haven't seen Andre before, he's our new representative from the Park and Recreation Commission. So every year we get a new person appointed to us and he's enthusiastic to help us out. Parks and Rec, yeah, so they're a commission that's above us and we will give reports to them annually and so Andre he'll come to most of our meetings and then he'll report back at their meetings on some of the things we're doing. So he's the liaison to kind of help support this group. Darlene, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have a question. I would like to say only, I like this program. I don't know about this program, but it's good for community.
Yeah.
It's very important and really we need programs like this program. And congratulations. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we have a lot of families who, because we have limited space, we get families throughout the year who are interested, and the only thing I can do is put them on a wait list, unfortunately. But, yeah, we have families coming throughout the year, sometimes during summer inquiring about after school. During after school, they come in and inquire about summer, so year round, but it's nice to see that the community is interested. Yeah.
And as she said in her report, the principals identify the children, so they've kind of got a good pulse on who really needs it the most.
Yeah.
There's a need far greater than just that, but trying to get the ones that need it the most is important.
I would like at least going to be more big, but
Yeah,
thank you.
Rosa, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I had a question. Last year, how many kids do you have in the hub?
I wanna say our highest number was around 56. Yeah, so sometimes not all families want to come during summer just because they might wanna spend time with their own kids. Other times they might have vacation plans, so we like to, have the kids here Monday through Friday. We understand things might come up, but if they're not gonna be here, let's say 4 weeks out of the 6, then we usually like to ask if they really need the space to fill that up with another family who might come throughout the 6 weeks. So,
And do you guys divide them by age or?
yeah, so our first group, the Discoverers, are incoming TK through first grade. And then our Adventurers are 2nd and 3rd, and then our Explorers are 4th, 5th, and incoming 6th graders. So 3 groups. Usually here in this room is the Explorers, the room next door is Adventurers, and the room furthest is Discoverers. So we haven't upgraded bigger.
How did they register?
Through the school and me. Yeah, so we work in partnership with the school. Yeah, so usually I'll have a Google form ready for the liaisons to help the family fill out, and that I'll transfer that into our website. So,
They give us an answer.
yeah.
Is that linked to the sixth grade only?
Yeah, yeah. We do have other camps who 8 middle schoolers, but for us, it's only income experience.
Is that beside the activity, is that any education about the environment activity?
Yeah, so sometimes the activities we have planned might include, they might include mathematics. Last year we had some math incorporation to make it fun, so it doesn't feel like school. Some challenges and competitions with math here in this group, or maybe some spelling and reading in the other group. What we did last year was some of our group leaders had binders ready for the kids. And that for downtime, it had worksheets, some coloring pages, so some academic, not entirely though, but some academics.
What about, how about it's not academic, this is not environmental or awareness. Raise awareness between the people, then you will be aware about the recycling. Like,
Oh, I
understand
see,
the
yeah.
recycling.
So with our snacks that we have at the end of the day, we do offer it to the community, however, not everyone takes it. So with all the leftover snacks, the kids now know what compost is, what recycling
Oh,
is, so, yeah, they know the difference between it, yeah, so. Yeah.
Which supports us because we're mandated to do it, and I always go, make sure they
Yeah.
green bin stuff, you know, so now creatively, they've got, you know, the
The kids
kids heard it firsthand, so they're a little more excited about doing it.
They learn from the young,
Yeah.
so
Right.
they will have awareness when they grow up. And
Yeah,
they keep it in mind.
so the kids really look to help us any way they can. So with the leftover snack, what they'll do, they know that the food goes into the compost bin, the trash goes into the trash bin, recycling will go into recycling. So in any way we can, we'll incorporate it as well.
Rosa, do you have any other questions? Okay, we go.
Is it a first come, first served basis?
So right now, it's priority with the after school kids that we have, and if any of those families say no, it'll be first priority. So depending on what the school wants, I'll work with them. Yeah, so usually, depending on situations and, let's say someone is first on the wait list, but someone at the bottom has a situation that's more of need, then I can prioritize them, but usually first come, first served.
Is that the school around the canal only or?
So the first school is here in Canal Villa Vista. Our second school, San Pedro, is near Chinatown towards San Rafael High School, around that area.
But the residency area for San Pedro is here. in
Here,
Canal.
yeah,
So
here,
it's San Pedro serves Canal.
yeah. So law, I think maybe 90% of our students live here in the canal, but those 10% live within San Rafael. But the majority of.
We don't take the application from the other school outside.
No.
And that, I think, partly has to do with the funding too, the school district has. Kate, do you have any questions?
I was wondering, in the application, it talks about a student survey. Was that something that you did last year?
So we sent out an email to the parents. with
Okay,
the
I saw
survey.
that,
Yeah,
okay.
with the survey, however, our families don't do well with technology, so a better approach we're taking this summer would be in-person surveys, so people.
Okay, for both
They'll
students
fill out-
and families?
Yeah,
Okay,
they'll fill out and turn it in, so the communication with the parents and I usually tends to be face-to-face instead of online, but I find that works better to build that relationship with families.
I also saw in the application, the outdoor equity programs grant parent questionnaire. Can you talk about how that's tied to this program?
Yeah, so I believe with that grant, what they want to do is with our Explorer group, our older age group, they want to take them on an extra field trip to explore nature. Whether that's incorporating the ideas that the families had, what the kids had, and inclusive to us as well as a whole, try to come up with something for them to take that extra field trip. But they all seem to be excited when talking about it.
Was that awarded? That grant has been awarded? Or in
I'm
progress?
not too sure.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
I also saw that it's actually a lower amount requested this year than last year. Is that just the number of summer days or something?
Yeah.
Probably, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Doug, do you have any more questions?
I just have that question.
Well, as you know, the committee will take it home, do everything, and then at our next meeting, they will then vote on it. So we invite you back, but you don't have to,
Okay.
we'll be in touch about it, let you know, send you the agenda too. But thank you very much for coming in tonight. and
Thank
giving the presentation.
you.
It's a great program, and there's a big need for it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome to stay, but you can also take it if you know it's late. So now we'll go on to item number 4, and that's review the proposed 2024 Pickleweed Advisory Committee meeting schedule. I double checked with the Sanderfeld City School calendar to make sure we didn't have any conflicts, so hopefully this looks good to everyone. Does anybody have any questions about it? These dates, any reason we should change any of the dates?
I mean, there's one date that I know I can't make, the June meeting date.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes,
But that's good to know ahead of time.
yeah, ahead of time. Oh, yeah.
in January, do the sick meetings.
It's hard for people to work, to get off work and come here before, so. So. Any other questions about? Right, we have a motion to accept it? The schedule?
I move to accept the 2024 Pickleweed Advisory Committee meeting schedule.
We have a second. Rosa seconds. Did you get that, Becky?
Yes, I did. Thank you. All right. Miguel Hal Gutierrez,
Yes.
Doug Nugent,
Yes.
okay, thank you. I checked up with it. Darlene Reyes,
Yes.
Kate Sprague,
Yes.
Rosa Vasquez,
Yes.
and Luis Yas.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion approved.
Thank you, Becky. All right. Now we move on to other brief reports or meetings, community interests that anybody's attended. Louise, do you have any updates?
Why me? No, just kidding. No, I was just thinking of the Canal Community Garden, which is usually basically fallow, more or less in winter. But I'm sure they'll be gearing up in the near future.
Well, there's been a lot of interest lately in the garden too.
Really?
From groups and things like that, and there is a bit of a waiting list for it, you know, they're working and they've got a new coordinator, Patty McCulley, who's in charge of the Canal Garden as well as the Terra Linda Community Garden.
Great,
She just started with us last month,
good,
so we'll be hearing a lot more about the garden soon as she ramps up a bit.
oh, good, glad to hear.
Andre, do you have any updates or anything?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. Elaine, do you have any updates?
Well, only I am in PAC, Police Committee.
The Police Advisory Committee? Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
Well, we are going to have, this week, the meeting,
No, next,
Two weeks.
2 weeks,
2 weeks.
next week.
And that'll be your second meeting, right? You've only had one so far, is that right? Or
No, two.
Oh, you've had two so
Third
far.
one, yeah.
Okay. Third one, okay.
We are learning about that.
Good. Rosa, any updates?
Very
Okay. Miguel? Kate?
We have been excited to have some CYO basketball games here at Pickleweed. And in particular, to have people who are not aware of the Pickleweed Community Center coming for those games and realizing that we have this great facility in this neighborhood. So that has been exciting to be able to walk to a game, something we don't get to do very often. So that's been fun. Oh, CYO basketball. CYO is Catholic youth organization, and they run a league for, I think, like 4th through 6th graders or something like that. It's through parishes, actually. Catholic parishes sponsor the teams, and kids can participate. we sign them up and then they play teams from other areas in Marin. But one of the gyms that they use is here at Pickleweed. So, that's been great to have people here. But it does then cause, people have trouble finding parking. So I'm hoping that the city, as they work towards things like the permit program in Spinnaker, that they also are thinking about ways that they can support making sure that parking turns over here at the community center, and that around us in the canal neighborhood more than Spinnaker also get some support with the parking challenges that we have there, including changing of T's and L's and things like that, enforcement at all hours of the day rather than just sometimes, because it's definitely ramping back up there, I would say, even though it seems like it's getting a little better in Spinnaker. And also, as the weather's changed a little bit and we've been able to walk around more, it's been disappointing to see the amount of litter that is around, particularly in the wetlands and related to people drinking. And so I know that there's a balance to reach there with asking for police support and helping us to enforce when people are doing that, and also picking up litter, but it certainly is disappointing and dangerous for our kids to be on bikes and scooters and walking, and our animals as well, when there's broken glass and so much garbage left behind. And I hate to see it in the wetlands in particular, because it's so impactful to the environment there. And we have to find a balance that allows us, especially the path behind here. Yeah. Along the water, but in particular, the path right behind the community center here has so many places for people to. But also, it just doesn't get. So, yeah, so, I think it'd be great if we could look for a way for the city to help support us through a downtown streets team here in the canal that would support that. I think that would be a really easy way to offer some more opportunities to people and support getting that directed.
One sec, Becky, can you hear us all right? Because it looks like our mic changed here.
Yes, it did glitch out for a second, but I can hear you guys just fine.
Okay, thank you.
My idea, and I actually let Mayor Kate know, I suggested this, is a downtown streets team, but for the canal, a canal streets team that could help in the streets and also around the wetlands, just so that we have some, that's been successful downtown San Rafael, and I think it'd be great to see that expanded, especially because we're supporting things with additional housing for the unhoused in this community, and it's not necessarily being done in other areas. So I think that the city could direct some more things to us. Adding more trash cans would probably be really helpful. Doing trash pickups more often would be helpful. So I'd love to see some more city support.
Just one thing, the city has been talking the last couple of years about having community ambassadors and kind of go in and empower the community back and be a little different than the police going out, but still trying to get the same result with park users and people in the neighborhood.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
And I hope that I am so glad that to hear that you're serving on that committee. I thank you for that service as well. I think that's essential to figure out how do we address this in a way that, but also that, respects the people in our community as well, who are dealing with the challenges of not having a place that they can go and relax. There's a balance there, I think, that we need to find as well.
That's a good thing, so maybe they could work on, because normally when it's like getting 24, the days are long, you see you're walking and then you're coming out around there, then when the bush is high.
Yeah. It's disconcerting. It's like, it feels a little dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's a palm tree on this side.
Yeah.
Normally the leaves are hanging down and anyone could hide them.
Yeah, and they do. That is a very popular place to box garbage.
I think we have to worry about that because it's a long time ago. After this, I think it's time to push and work
Yeah, okay.
in the area.
I agree.
Sure.
Thank
Thank you.
I don't give any community
Well, I was
updates.
just thinking about the political work. But that's not. That's, we have a this, but not talking about the trust,
Oh,
but we can suggest that.
We can, why not? Thank you.
Thank you. So we're gonna move on to staff comments. I just want to piggyback off of Kate. In July, we'll have been here 15 years, but it always pleases me when I'm up front and somebody walks in who hasn't been here before. This place is beautiful and it's active, and you know, we get the complaints about parking. That's the biggest complaint we get. And some of the others that you mentioned too, but it is nice.
In
The
fairness-
cultural mix, and then the canal sometimes has a bad reputation when people
Absolutely.
get down here, and it's
the beautiful
Great,
gym, they
activities.
asked, what else can we do here? And in fairness, none of them complained about parking, actually. I just watched them
Right.
walk from a long way away.
Yeah.
To get here for one of the only activities going on.
But they come and they see the center well used and everybody working together, not just
Absolutely.
staff, it's a small staff, but it's all the community working together. And that's what's really nice.
Absolutely. Noticing the library branch too. They like
Right.
that. Yeah.
As you will recall, in October, I mentioned that we had received final approval for the Land Water Conservation Fund grant for the Pickleweed Park Enhancement Project. We unfortunately did not receive the Clean CA grant that we had applied for, but we are actively trying to identify additional funding. But the good news is the one we got was a big part of it. So we are moving forward. We've continued to work with Public Works and the design team, and have just recently provided our 95% plans. They presented those, and we were making comments on those. Logistically, we're working with BCDC, which is the Bay Conservation and Development Commission, whose jurisdictions over the San Francisco Bay extends over the Bay tide areas for their approval. Our project does need to work around the Clapper Rail breeding season because we are close to the waterway there. Our hope is that we can go out to bid this spring and start construction of the all-weather turf soccer field September 1st of 2024. The area where the outdoor basketball courts and the extended parking lot is planned in the plans will potentially serve as the construction staging area, and then construction on those amenities would then start September 1st, 2025. The new park restroom, the adult fitness area, the additional garbage cans, the gazebo could possibly be scheduled in between those times because they're going to be farther away from the water, so they won't be impacted by the Clapper Rail season. The community and all of our outreach over the last several years has identified additional preschool playground equipment and additional security cameras, which are still important on our plans. But we're waiting for additional fundings on that part. We're trying to get the new items in first. We do have a new playground. We hope to expand that a little bit more. We do have a camera system. It'd be great to expand that more too. But we're trying to concentrate on the big things that we need to get. And then, as you remember, Marin Audubon has a project proposed to raise and alter the levee wall and restore the marshland behind and next to the park, so that both projects will need to coordinate their efforts and timing and connectivity. They're for sea level rise, they're taking, the walkway that we're talking about. It will not go all the way to the canal. It'll come along the side here and then go right behind the soccer fields and then cut this way. And then they're gonna renovate the marsh or revitalize the marsh so it's environmentally effective. We can't do anything, it's city owned, but we can't do anything on that, so we're working with them on that project. But to coordinate, since they're both the same time, we want our project to then be ADA accessible under their levee, which they're raising, and it's, but we want to start going, so it's a little interim, and we're playing the game, but we're working well together, so. Our consultant, Gates Associates, will be giving a project presentation update to the Park and Recreation Commission at their March 21st meeting. I also plan to be giving the annual Pickleweed Advisory Committee meeting update for 2023 at that meeting. This year's movie nights will be on August the 23rd. We've switched dates. We usually do it a little bit later when it gets darker a little earlier. But with the project starting September 1st, we wanted to do it before we start tearing things up there. We hope to continue with the city's community outreach prior to the movie, as that's been very successful. And possibly this year we'll have a karate demonstration, as it might possibly relate to the movie theme. Wink, wink, I'm not saying anything yet. And then since our last meeting, we had our big Dia de los Muertos event. We received rave reviews following last November's event, and with many saying it was the best yet. The event consisted of family art workshops, face painting for youth, 25 altars, musical entertainment from Pan Rafael, Trace Quadrille, Elm, a DJ, dancing with a local band. There's also professional storytellers and cultural performances with the Aztec dancers and ballet folklorico. The San Rafael Police and the San Rafael Fire Department assisted in leading our walking procession through the canal neighborhood. And that concluded over the newly repaved Larkspur Street at the time. Thank you to Public Works. They actually called and were trying to work around our schedule. So when we're pulling the big Valentina with rollers, it was nice having a smooth street this year. So we didn't worry about it falling. And I'd like to give that special thanks to Louise, who again played the steel pan to welcome everybody into the lobby. She does that every year, and everybody loves it. So thank you for always being committed to the event. We were able to purchase a new commercial reach-in refrigerator with side-by-side swing doors and hydrocarbon refrigerant. Sounds like we're on Let's Make a Deal. Thanks to the Nutrition Infrastructure Grant from the Aging and Adult Service Division of the County of Marin's Department of Health and Human Services. The more energy efficient $5,833.95 unit keeps truer temperatures and will be utilized by our division's weekly congregate meal program for older adults, as well as our many rentals. So it's been great. Stephen uses it every Wednesday for the luncheon. Yeah. On disappointing news, William Coronado from Troop 2000 has left the troop. Now, as many of you know, but Louise, was probably 5 or 6 years ago at one of their presentations, he said he was going to leave, and there was such a community, outpour for, oh no, you can't, and he's stuck around. But finally in December was his last days. I know it was really hard for him. Willie was from Mill Valley. He had a troop down there, and he started this troop in the year 2000. And he had to pull all sorts of strings and had all this backing because 2000 was, they just really wanted that name 2000. It started then, and they were able to get it. And he really contributed a lot to, a lot of the children in this community. A lot of their projects benefited this community. They redid our decks years ago. They did some of the playground enhancements, redid flower beds for us at the community garden. But the troop is still going, right? The parents are stepping up and trying to keep it going and trying to figure out. So they've been meeting here on Mondays still, and we'll see what comes in the future. But I'm hopeful it will continue.
For sure.
Yeah. Our programs are doing well with dance classes for youth really taking off. Unfortunately, we'll be losing our adult dance class, which are in the evenings because of the parking situation. That's been an ongoing thing for years for us, for the nighttime classes and rentals on nights and weekends. People don't want to do it because we can't guarantee the parking here. So it's, as you said earlier, it's the #1 complaint we have. It's hard, as a manager of a community center, it'd be nice to chain it off at night and just make sure. When I got here, it was parking intended just for the community center. But being part of the city, we have to help out the whole parking situation. So, we kind of play along, but it does get a little frustrating when we lose our programs like that.
Did you say can't think ESL?
No, it's an adult dance class.
Oh.
ESL's in the morning currently. We don't have evening ones anymore. We used to, but now it's just in the morning, and the parking's good there. The dance classes here, we have youth dance classes and then adults in the evening. Yeah. Let's see. Pickleball, we've got pickleball that has been going on in the gym on Tuesdays and Fridays through March 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we partnered with Vin Liu earlier this year. Vin was in a meeting with the mayor and maybe a few other council members and expressed that a lot of the Vietnamese community here were hesitant to pay the $4 drop-in fee for pickleball when they knew nothing about it. So what we've done is on Fridays, he's coming in and doing a little basic prep class. And 2 weeks later now, they're starting to pay and stay for the other one. So they're catching on, and it's great. We're getting more of the community participating for that. That's on, the class is at 9, and it's just a casual class, and the actual drop-in program is from 10 to 1. It's $4 for as long as you want to play. You can play with whoever. It's twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, but it'll end March 1st. We have found that when it's sunny outside, the people don't come. There's too many outdoor courts, and I don't blame them. I'd rather be outside playing myself. But especially when the weather is poor, they do like to come and do it. So we don't offer it year round because it takes time for us to set up, and then nobody comes, or to not allow other groups in the gym, you know. So it's we think we found the sweet spot. We're always making little tweaks. If the rains continue and there's nothing else in there, we might go another month or so. But right now, we're going through March 1st. We have substantial leaks in our teen room and art room. This year, the facilities maintenance from the city has come up with these tarps with a hose that comes down and captures the rainwater. It was that much that was going on. If you do remember those rooms, especially down on that side, the art room and the teen room, the problems are underneath the air conditioning and heating units on the roof. And so it's hard to patch. And so they're trying to time it with replacement and all that. So it's been an ongoing problem, but it definitely seems worse this year. And we do have a few leaks in the roof. We're juggling all that. The windows in those rooms, which also leak, are scheduled to be replaced pretty soon. I don't know if they have a hard date on that yet, but as you know, with the mural project that'll be going on, we want to take care of that. All these windows need to be replaced. And the framing, you know, some of them have rot around it. So take care of that. But we're starting on that side so that we can then proceed with the mural as soon as that passes city council approval. They leak. And so, yeah, so it had to be, the wall in the other room was cut up and to try to fix it. In October, our longtime custodian, Juan Carlos, left the city. We have not been able to recruit for his replacement yet, so we've been piecing it together with some facility attendants doing some extra hours, and Stephen and I kind of covering and cleaning as often as we can too. But hopefully we'll be able to fill that position. And I was really sorry to see him go. He's a strong member of our team. And then I will be attending the California Park and Recreation Society Conference at the end of this month and expect to learn some programming trends as well as some administrative items related to the field. So I have not been in about 4 years, so excited to do that. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the reports, I will be presenting the Pickleweed Advisory Committee's annual report to the Park and Recreation Commission on Thursday, March 21st at 6 p.m. at the San Rafael Community Center on B Street. Unlike past years, the report also included programming that we have done in combination with the advisory committee, but this year it's just focusing on the Park and Rec, or I'm sorry, the Pickleweed Advisory Committee. So I'll just give an update on you and all the programs that you approved for co-sponsorship last year. I do strongly encourage any of you that are available, and I'll send a reminder to attend the meeting, because in the past, it's always been a great opportunity for the commission and the committee to kind of see each other face to face. You know, we see those that go to the December boards and commission reception at the Falker, we kind of see that there's a lot of people. So it's good to see how their meeting works, and it puts a face when I'm talking about the program. So if you're available, it'd be great to have you there. It's not required. And I'll send a reminder for that. That is at the San Rafael Community Center on B Street next to Safeway. That'd be at 6 p.m. And then also there at that meeting will be the presentation from Gates Associates regarding the Pickleweed Enhancement Project. So it'd be great to see their presentation as well. And those are the highlights. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Maidon, do you have any questions? Oh, next Saturday? Oh, no, I haven't heard of anything here for that. Rosa, do you have any questions?
No, I was just looking at the,
There's a proposal out there to maybe do a combined library and community center. Possibly, kind of like we're combined with this library, but it would be the main library with the recreation department. It was talked about several years ago too, but now there's a new group that's putting it forward, and it might be a ballot measure. Yeah, which is exciting. In this community center? Yes, yeah. And they've got some grant funding that they're hoping to try to expand their footprint a little bit. Creatively, it's hard to knock out the outside walls, but if you've ever been in those restrooms, they're huge, so maybe they can reconfigure those and redo some office space. So hopefully make this one a little bit bigger, but the project Rose is mentioning is the downtown library.
So they haven't decided whether to tear down the main library or not, right?
Yeah, it's the proposal for this, and the old structure there, I don't think that would get torn down. Personally, I think there's too much interest, whether it's repurposed or something else, I can't speak to that, but I don't see that going, just more the add-ons that might go, but it's not a functional
When they
facility.
talked about it before, it was fascinating to learn that add-on was cooking garage. And so they're,
Originally,
yeah,
Yeah.
originally, so it's like, of course, that's part of why it's so hard to maintain as a library,
Yeah.
because it's a parking garage, but they talked about maybe being able to turn it into rental spaces or meeting spaces in the Carnegie building, the original, and then really have a large library at the community center on the street.
But then they'd have to bring the original building up to code. There's all kinds of problems, right? Earthquake safety, housing, code. So that's.
yeah, I'm not sure what
that's good.
what specifically the codes are, but yes, they would have to make sure that.
I'd like to hear, Darlene, if you would mind, a little bit more about the police committee you're on.
Well, I think this committee is because, you remember, I think it's last year, happened with Matthew
It was
about
2
this-
years ago, maybe.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we have actually meetings here. The neighborhood and many people will suggest to have a committee with the police.
Yeah.
And I think this committee is, here in Ghana, for example, it was going to be in all San Rafael, but in this is, the people around here be, more, don't scare when the police come, and more friendly police with people, and we are going to work in different things, because in Canal, when you see the police, they're very scared, or the police stop you, they're very scared, and sometimes the police don't come on time when there's big problem, and we need to work with our community in Canal, and other things about San Rafael. But we are starting right now, and we are learning, yeah. But it's very important, this committee with the police,
Yes, it is.
yeah.
And are the people on the committee a broad representation of Marin people, or is it
Marine people, yes. yeah.
throughout the county?
Only Helen and I will represent here, Canal.
Who?
My dog is on that too.
Oh,
yeah,
fabulous.
but I think this is only some.
Yeah, not the county.
I
the
think
city.
it is all-
They're not only
It's just
that. Yeah, it's only. People, it's a focus on the areas. Relationship between this. improvements. We have a public attention, we have a public. Attending the meetings.
On Wednesday too, let me see, going to be 21st, 31st. Yeah. This time to block and we have a open.
You can come.
You can come over. No,
Oh.
and.
Okay. Well, I appreciate both of you volunteering your time. That's really crucial, really important.
Yeah.
I'm happy they decide to invite people from here. I am so happy to be there, be part of there. I would like to be there. I'm learning and everybody I think so is learning too. Because it's new. It's new that we would like to tell them more.
Well, it's beneficial to this committee too, to have you two to relay what's going on with that too. So
Yeah.
we all
Yeah,
benefit.
she represented.
Yeah.
Carla Alvarez and I. Not only here in Canal. But we have a very important people in this committee.
Oh, I bet.
Oh my God, people work hard in the community. Very important people we have.
So are all races represented in this community? In the committee, I mean.
We haven't talked so far, and we just talking about it in general. Including the tax. We have only like the 2 meetings so far.
Yeah. Okay.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Down because the committee just started.
Did you have any questions about the presentation?
No.
Louise? Good?
Good.
Good. All right, well, let's adjourn our regular meeting at 8:04 PM. And our next meeting will be April 3rd in person back here in this room. I thank everybody for coming tonight. Hopefully the weather was okay on your way over.